Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a new Cardfight Vanguard video for you guys today. And today we're going to be talking about some cards that have been announced in the last week that I'm really excited for. We're going to be talking about the new Dimensional Robo cards and how I feel about them, because I used to play Dimensional Robo, and I had a friend of mine who was a huge D-Robo fan. Like, that was like his deck. And I also want to talk about the new Overtriggers, because I have some opinions. So if you guys enjoy this kind of content, let me know down in the comments and drop a like on the video. I'll be glad to review some other cards as they come out, but I gotta know that you guys are down for that. But enough from me, let's jump in. So we're gonna start with the Overtriggers. Up first, we've got Spiritual King of Bright Sky, Married Zamblia. What a name. Alright, so obviously typical Overtrigger. Get 100 million power, draw a card, remove the Overtrigger. Additional effect, draw up to one card for every 2 of your opponent's open circles in a total of their rear guards and guardian circle. Period. Retire all your opponent's rear guards and guardians. Alright. This one feels weird. If you're playing a control deck, that heavy retire deck, then you're drawing 4 cards. You draw 1 for the effect, plus 3 for all the open circles. Because, you know, the 5 rear guard circles plus the guardian circle, you're drawing 3 cards. That seems kind of crazy at first. The second effect, retire all your opponent's rear guards and guardians, also sounds crazy at first. Hear me out. If you're playing a heavy retire deck, you're drawing 4 cards. Cool. But then the retiring effect doesn't matter. And the retiring opponent's guardians, this thing doesn't stop perfect guards, so the perfect guard effect will still stop them from being hit. And in most cases, if you get hit in Overtrigger, you're pushing through a guard anyway. The only thing it does is it guarantees the hit on your Vanguard to be able to hit your opponent's Vanguard. Then you can give the 100 million to a different unit. So I mean, I guess there's that. It's meh. I will say if you're playing a deck with a strong offense already, I guess you don't necessarily need, you can run this because you don't need this to kill. In a lot of cases, when it comes to Overtriggers usually put so much pressure on the opponent that it's hard for them to recover. This really doesn't feel that way. This feels more like you're trying to live. Like, for example, let's say you're playing Youthberg. Youthberg has an extremely strong offense. It doesn't really need an Overtrigger. I mean, Overtriggers always help, but at a minimum, you're going to draw 2 cards because you're going to bomb deck one of their rear guards with full blast. So there's 2 open circles there. So you're going to draw 2 cards, you're going to give the 100 million power, you're going to retire guardians. If they got a perfect guard, then you don't hit, which sucks. But now you get to retire all your opponent's rear guards, which can be pretty crazy. So it's like, in a deck like that, it's good, but in most of the cases, I don't see people actually running this. But the other one, Spiritual King of Night Sky, Nyx Lazelia. This thing is nuts. So again, normal Overtrigger effects, 100 million power, remove it, draw a card. Additional effect, choose up to 1 card from your damage zone, put it into your hand, choose up to 1 card from your hand, call it to rear guard, and it gets 10,000 power until end of turn. This thing is nuts. So, breaking it down, you get to choose a card from your damage zone and put it into your hand. So you're healing a damage, you're getting a +1 in the hand, then you get to choose a card from hand, call it to rear guard, and it gets 1,000 power. So you can then get an additional attack. Just wow. And because of the way the effects of the trigger go off, you can actually save the 100 million power for the new attack instead of just giving it the 10,000 power. This card, 100% in going in Overtriggers. Overtriggers usually swings with rear guards first, swings Vanguard, retires the front row, and now you hit this, you get to call out a dude and get another attack. I personally think this might actually be the best Overtrigger for Overtriggers. And I can say that's going to be my main deck, literally starting today, as my split just came in. I'll be looking out for this card. But, yeah, that's how I feel about the 2 Overtriggers. And now, we're going in for the reason we're here. We're going to be talking about the D-Robos. We're starting off with the Grade 0, Dimensional Robo Goyusha, basic starter. When this unit is rode upon, if you win second, draw a card. We have a new base. This is interesting because the only base we've ever had is for B heroes, but now we have a super dimensional fortress die base. So this is our grade 0 order, which is again crazy. We don't see very many grade 0 set orders. Act Order Zone. If you have a Vanguard with a Dimensional Robo in its card name, rest this card and energy charge 1. Choose up to one grade 2 or less with Dimensional Robo in its card name from your drop, put it into your soul. If this card is put into the Order Zone this turn, you may search your deck instead of choosing from your drop and put it into your soul. If you search your deck, shuffle your deck. Now, that's fine. Just let us keep going and you'll see why that's good. Act Order Zone. If you have a Vanguard with Dimensional Robo in its card name, Energy Blast 2, rest this card, choose up to one grade 2 or less with Dimensional Robo in its card name from your soul, call it to Rearguard. That's why. So, we're filling our soul with D-Robos to then end up calling them. And obviously if we have more copies of the base, we can call out an entire board. Next, we've got Dimensional Robo Dilander. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, search your deck for up to one base card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. So this is as soon as you arrive grade 1 starts to get the deck going. When this unit is placed on Rearguard from the soul by your card's ability, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard Dilution in its card name, all your Vanguards and this unit get plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So you call this from the soul with the base, it gets 5k, Dilution gains 5k. Already feeling like a D-Robo deck. Alright, this one I was gonna save, but as it's a grade 1, it's already on the list. But this one is interesting. This is Dimensional Robo Die Battles, which if I recall was actually the crit trigger in the original game. But anyway, act soul once per turn. If your Vanguard is Dimensional Robo Die Dragon, your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2 or greater, and your soul has Dimensional Robo Goyusha, Dimensional Robo Die Lander, and Dimensional Robo Die Mariner, you put a card from hand into the soul. Choose up to one Super Dimensional Robo Diusha from your ride deck and ride it as stand. Let's break that down again because that sounds confusing. Your opponent has to be a grade 2, so this only works if you went second. If your soul has Dimensional Robo Goyusha, your starter, Dimensional Robo Dilander, which is your grade 1 from the ride deck, Dimensional Robo Dimariner, which is the other grade 1 that we haven't talked about, that we'll talk about that in a second, and you need to have this in the soul. Sounds crazy, but this is actually super easy with the way the deck works. But you choose Diusha from your ride deck, your grade 3, and you ride it. So you get to jump from grade 1 up to grade 3. Because you're going to discard to ride grade 2, and then once you're on grade 2, because you have to be on Die Dragon, you're going to put a card from your hand into the soul and immediately ride to grade 3. So you're not losing too many cards because you will be getting your twin drive. And if you are worried about that, you can play like draw triggers. And you can maybe get away with playing the Energy Blast cyclers. But again, we'll get to that in a second. Second effect, auto. When this unit is placed on Rearguard from soul by your card's ability, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Diusha in its card name, and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, your Vanguard's original critical becomes 2 until the end of turn. That is strong, and you will see why when we get to Diusha. Alright, Dimensional Robo Dimariner. When this card is discarded from hand during your turn, you may put it into the soul. So you discard this boy to ride, you immediately put it into the soul, which also facilitates die battles because you discard this, put it into soul, then when you play your base, you search die battles and you're good to go. The other cool thing about the base being a grade 0 is you can search it on grade 1 and immediately set it and immediately start setting up. It's cool. Second effect, when this unit is placed on Rearguard from the soul by your card's ability, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Diusha in its card name, until end of turn, this unit gets 2,000 power and your opponent cannot intercept. Obviously, if you're going for a push, you stop your opponent from intercepting. Dimensional Robo Die Dragon. When this unit is rode upon by a grade 3 card with Diusha in its card name, you call this card to Rearguard. When this unit is placed on Rearguard from the soul by your card's ability, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Diusha in its card name until the end of your opponent's next turn, this unit gets, when your Vanguard is attacked, retire this unit, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets 15,000 until the end of turn, and gets 5,000. It's a little confusing the way it's worded, but basically, you ride Diusha, you call this from the soul. When it's called from the soul by an ability, so by itself or by your base, if you have Diusha as your Vanguard, until your opponent's next turn, it gets an effect, where basically you can retire this to give your Vanguard 15k for a battle. So it's an okay defensive option. Only that it sucks is that can be retired, but that's neither here nor there. And then this unit gains 5,000 power till end of turn. So, beater, defensive. Only, like I said, only downside is that can be retired. Super Dimensional Robo Lady. And I'm going to say this right now, she built different. And you know what I mean. When this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a Vanguard Dimensional Robo and its card name, Counterblast 1, search your deck for one base card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. We already have a way to search out multiple bases. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, if your order zone has 2 or more bases, this unit gets 10,000 power until the end of that battle. So here's our main beater. This is also one of the only cards in the deck that doesn't need to be called by an effect to start getting its effects. So she is most likely a 4 of. And finally, we got Mac Daddy Super Dimensional Robo Dayusha. Auto, once per turn, when this unit attacks, Counterblast 1 and draw a card. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose any number of your units with Dimensional Robo in their different card names and they get 5,000 power till end of turn. So that's not great. You Counterblast 1 to draw a card, and if your opponent's at grade 3, you get to give any of your units with Dimensional Robo 5,000. The cool thing about that is it doesn't matter if it's front row or back row, they all gain 5,000. So potentially you can give your entire board 5,000 power, which is okay, but it's a little different from what Dayusha used to do. Second effect, this one is kind of nuts. Auto Vanguard once per turn. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, put a card from your hand into the soul, stay in this unit, and it gets drive -2 until end of turn. If your bind zone does not have a Dimensional Robo Goyusha, and you Persona roll this turn, bind a Dimensional Robo Goyusha from your soul, and this unit gets +1 drive until the end of turn. So, instead of getting the extra critical, which is what Dayusha used to do, it now is a restander. And the only cost is putting a card from hand to soul. It gets -2 drive checks, so you don't get extra drives unless you have Goyusha in the soul. Which, if you have Goyusha in the soul, you bind it, and you get drive +1. As far as I know, there's no way to get Goyusha out of the bind zone. It is optional. It is optional. So you can save it for when you're going for a push and you want to get the extra drive. So now back to die battles. Giving the Vanguard a crit for the turn and then turning it into a restander is nuts, especially since they can pump your entire board by 5k. I think it's pretty solid. I've seen a lot of people complaining because it's so different, but I'm a fan, and I'm actually excited to build this deck and try it out. So I'll probably be making a video tonight to go out tomorrow of me actually trying this deck out. So make sure you guys swing by and check that out. If you guys want to see this deck live and maybe see me work on it, I'll most likely be doing that on stream. I'll most likely be doing that on stream tomorrow night. Usually on Saturday nights, I play Vanguard with the viewers. I build decks, and we have some pretty fun discussion about the cards in general. So if you guys want to be here for that stream, that'll be around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys want to check me out on social media, those links will be down below. Let me know what you guys think about these cards, how you're feeling about the Dimensional Robos, how you're feeling about the Overtriggers. But that is it from me. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.